Hello, it is me. Hey, Neo. Hey, old branch. I mean, you do get old at that game, Neo. Give him a break. Hey, Pie. Hey, Snaz. Hey, is it, Leckerbrot? Hello. Collie. Hello. How are you? If I've said anything wrong so far, please lodge your complaints. It's been that kind of day. I'm late because I'm trying to get things organized. Ghost wants me to be on Winds of Chaos tonight, so my day has to be organized a certain way. How are you, friends? Oh my gosh, look at this little Pepper, who's terrified. Looks like one of Ghost's emotes. Doing amazing, so excited to play with you again tonight. Yeah, I kind of have been kind of asking Ghost on and off all week, like, do you want me there? Are you sure you want me there? And finally this morning I was like, you have to make a decision 100%. In fairness to him, he kept saying yeah, but he just didn't seem sure, so I was finally like, I need a firm answer. And he was like, yeah. And I was like, all right, you're stuck with me now. So yeah, that'll be fun. Today is gonna be hopefully a cool day. I've been saying for about 3 months that I was gonna start a brand new project on stream and show you guys what my outlining process looks like and what my worlds building creation cycle. I don't know, words are just coming out of my mouth. I've promised to show you basically everything that I do pre-novel on stream. So that's happening today. I'm starting a brand new project called Everyone's Child. Working title, Everyone's Child, is going to be a series of between 3 to 6 books. I don't even know for sure yet. This is how it starts. It has a very vague name, it has a very vague plot, it has some very vague characters, and I have no idea how many books it's going to be. That's going to depend on how the plot goes. So, not my child, everyone's child. Collie. Everyone's. I can't stay. Gotta get some stuff done around the house, but I'm excited and I'll be lurking. Thank you for the lurk, Collie. I super appreciate it. Good luck with the stuff around the house. I know you and Vinyl have a lot of stuff going on right now. Halo, hello, how are you? Thank you for the stretch and the hydrate. I almost forgot the word hydrate, even though it's right in front of me. My goodness. That's gay art in the background? I mean, yeah. Hang on, let me turn off my overlay. I have this picture on my background because it reminds me of Dahlmern and Crescent. Where's my overlay? There, you can see the full picture and also how many things I have open in the background. Dahlmern actually has much longer hair, but this reminds me of Dahlmern and Crescent. Also, Crescent has his own bike, but whatever. I can dream of the two of them riding like this on a bike. We love the cute boys cuddling. That's what we like here. Lurk while I work. Thank you for the lurk, Neo. I hope you're having a good day. I saw that you said you're officially working from home next week, so that's good to know. Doing okay, just hopping in to make sure you take care of yourself. I thank you so much, Halo, because it's been a hectic day and I don't think I've been taking care of myself. I gotta get this stretch in here before I forget. Can't forget to take care of self. So yeah, we're starting a brand new project today. We're going to be starting with characters because that's where all of my stories basically come from. Masticina, hello, how are you? Now, I also said that we were going to try out Novelpad. So let me log into my account. That's not my password, apparently. What did I set my password? Whoops. There we go. I did it. I signed into my account. Let me move. Well, we'll move it if we need to. I guess I should actually go in. So I've created a work in progress. And I've created sort of I've created a list of characters. I am gonna have to move my display capture here so that you can see what we're doing. How's that? How is that? Frog with a banana peel on its head arg moment. when you put your wrong password in. Nothing beats delightful drum and bass in the evening. Nice. Yeah. Shh. It wasn't 1 2 3 4. It was 4 3 2 1. I forgot that I changed it. So I've created a very basic outline. You can see that some of the characters okay. I'm so flighty. I'm getting so ahead of myself. So I actually started this story. I started writing this story, I think when I was in high school or when I was in college. This might have been a college work in progress. I actually wrote about 11,000 words of the story and then kind of abandoned it because back then I didn't do outlines. I just wrote whatever came into my head at the time. And I realized that I had no idea where this story was going. Imagine that. And I stopped working on it. But I've always kind of planned to come back to it and actually give it a proper go. And so it is, now that I've finished my Eternity's Empire series, the last book came out yesterday. It's 100% done. Incidentally, if you're interested in seeing the final Eternity's Empire book in the store, just hit the exclamation new release. It will take you right to the link. Now that that's done, now that it's completely gone from my schedule, I'm going to be starting a new project, and the new project is Everyone's Child. Working title for the series, it might change. But in my head, it's been called Everyone's Child for like 20 years, so it might stay. 15 years. It probably hasn't been around 20. And you can see that some of the characters have names. Alethea, Jeolin, and Ciri have names because I already wrote them into the story at one point in time or another. And the rest of the characters are just kind of nicknames to give me an idea of what I want, like Wings and Hellfire. So what we're gonna do, hopefully today, and we might not get through all of these today, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna make these people. We're going to take them from just nebulous ideas, we're going to give them names, we're going to give them forms, and hopefully we're going to start to develop a personality and a background and information that I can use about these characters to create a story. Most of my stories start off with a concept, a core concept around which all of the rest of the information is built. Sometimes it's a character, sometimes it's an idea, sometimes it's an event. Always good to have characters? Yes, exactly. I sort of base my stories around what my characters decide to do or how they would act or react to a situation. So I always start with my characters first. Possibly, depending on how this part goes, I might try to start an outline next and then do my locations after, because sometimes it's easier to know the locations in the story after I know where my characters are gonna go. But I don't know for sure. It's gonna depend how this part of the process goes. Or a set of them. Been working on a story, I'm beginning with a set of them. Nice! Simply, how many do I need and what makes them interesting? Exactly. I have tried to come up with a core set of characters for this story. I expect that the story will grow more characters as it goes on. But these are the ones that I have sort of conceptually decided are going to be central to the story. And hopefully once I know them, I'll be able to write the story. Bree, hello, how are you? I think I remembered how to say your name right. I feel like I ask you every time. I'm like, you asked already. How are you? What is up? I use faction methods, aka characters as part of a faction. Ooh, that makes sense. Yes, I remembered a name. How are you? By the way, for anyone who's like, why is she so happy? I'm horrible at names. So I remembered a name. We are actually going to be making heavy use of Pinterest today, because I have already created a Pinterest board. Let me actually move it so you can see it. I've already created a Pinterest board for this this work in progress, this series. And it doesn't have a lot in it right now, because it's all kind of very conceptual. But what I tried to do was get a few ideas for each of the characters that I can sort of build off of. And usually I'm pretty good at not spending a ton of time on Pinterest during my writing time. But today we will probably be spending a lot of time going, and what if? And doing a lot of stuff that doesn't look like it's work. But it's all part of the process. And we're going to start with this particular pin because this is how I imagine Alethea, who is going to be our main character in the book. I want her to be something, not this exactly, this is obviously someone else's art for someone else's character, but something like this. This is going to be our inspiration for our main character, Alethea. She is pretty, right? And I really like this whole composition. I like the concept of this elegant female warrior, sort of associated with the night sky in some way. I don't know if all of those connotations are meant to be what you see when you look at this picture, but that's what I see when I look at this picture. The main concept, I guess I skipped over this. The main concept for this story is that there is a goddess named Everyone's Mother. And she is sort of the mother goddess of this particular world, this particular society. She is sort of worshipped as the creator of all everything, right? She is everyone's mother. She is the being from which all others spring. And according to the tradition of this culture, this world, everyone's mother has vanished. The goddess is essentially gone. No one knows if she died or if she's hiding or if she's just moved on. But prophecy says that she has a daughter who will one day appear and all sorts of things will happen when she appears. And so that's the sort of where this title comes from, Everyone's Child, is sort of if there was a mother goddess and she spawned a society and this society somehow spawned this child goddess, she is therefore everyone's child. It's maybe doesn't work. It's very thin, but it's the concept that we're going with. Sounds lovely and magical and epic. That's what I'm going for. Magic does exist in this story. Absolutely. Good daughter, bad daughter. That's what we're gonna find out. Nice story so far. Thank you, Neo. There's definitely a lot of duality in this book. I think it's gonna come more from how everyone reacts to Alethea versus how she herself is. If you haven't figured it out yet, Alethea is the goddess's daughter. She is our main character. She is sort of the center of this story. She is the person of myth, the person of prophecy, and she is sort of at the center of all these events because her very existence, her very walking among the population is sort of what kicks off these events and sort of what makes everything start to happen. So we're starting with her because she is our central character. She's the one that everything's named after. She's gotta be good. At least she isn't the chosen in a world where there are 300 chosen who failed. Exactly. And strong female lead, like in my story. I love strong female leads. Yes, me too. Hey, is it, Bobicus? Am I saying that right? Welcome, how are you? So yeah, I really, really want to, make Alethea special because she's the main character. And I often feel like if your main character isn't interesting or identifiable in some way, your story is gonna fall flat. No pressure, right? Got it in one. Yes. I'm so bad with names. I got 2 names today. Did she know she's the daughter of a goddess? Yes, she does know that she's the daughter of a goddess. Does she like being special? I don't think she does. And that's sort of going back to this idea of like good daughter or bad daughter. I don't think Alethea likes the situation that she's in, right? Everyone knows that she is, and this isn't spoilers because this is sort of the opening of the book, and this is very strong in my mind, is that the opening of the book is that we see Alethea and she's wounded and she's tired and she's sort of walking through this populated town, and everyone is turning to look at her. Everyone can see that she's in trouble, but no one helps her. They just sort of murmur about her, right? And so the sort of the concept of this is that everyone knows who she is, and everyone knows that because of her existence, something will happen to the world. The world will be shaped in some way because of her. But nobody really wants anything to do with that, or at least ordinary people don't want anything to do with that. But everyone who does want something to do with that wants her to do things their way, right? There are people, there are strong influences in this world that are sort of pulling her in all directions. And in the center of this, Alethea's main problem is she has to figure out who she is for herself, right? She has to answer the question, who am I and who do I want to be? Because that is what is ultimately going to have her fulfill the prophecy, is by deciding what she thinks is right and what she thinks she should do. And so I think that Alethea is sort of a very strong personality, but also a little bit lost because she lives in this world where everyone is telling her who she should or shouldn't be. But no one is really allowing her to be herself. And so I think that's one of the core things about Alethea that makes her interesting, is she's constantly trying to balance between what society says and what her heart says. Does she like being seen as special, or does she rebel against her fate? Yeah, I think there's definitely a bit of rebellion going on. I think that she knows that she has to do what she has to do, but I also think that she kind of wants to be free of it as well. Pushes out the love triangle, shoe off, you go not here. Being an avatar or goddess is a shitty deal. Exactly. And so I think we all, in our society, we kind of romance this idea of being, you know, some kind of chosen avatar, of having the adoration of everyone, of sort of being able to make these big decisions and shape the world. But someone who's actually put in that position has a different perspective, right? And especially in a society that doesn't necessarily want to change or want to be shaped. And so she's sort of been thrust into this situation where she doesn't have a choice about who she is. And people believe that she's going to do something. And because of that belief, they're sort of forcing her to do something. And so I think there's this knife edge balance of acceptance and rebellion, and partially just a desire to be done with it, right? Let me fulfill this prophecy so that I can move on with my life and do what I want to do, instead of having to be who all these people think I'm going to be. And so if I were to distill Alethea down into like a core concept, I think that's who she is. But I don't want that to diminish, because I really want Alethea to have this fiery personality, to be confident and possibly sometimes a little overconfident, sometimes maybe acting before she fully thinks about a situation. And I don't want her position to necessarily overshadow her personality, because I feel like that strong, passionate personality is also what's going to drive our story as well. I love comedy books where supposed heroes are like, yeah, right, how about no? Exactly. And I don't like to get caught up too much in some of the more traditional fantasy, like, I am the chosen one, I'm now going to, like, embody the faith or whatever. Because I think a sassy protagonist who wants to do it her way is more interesting, right? Somebody who's, like, yeah, I have to fulfill this prophecy, but I'm gonna do it the way I want to do it, not the way everyone else thinks I'm supposed to do it. Be who you want to be. If you want to be a dog, woof, you know? Exactly. Wise words from a wise vine. Like children are royalty or politicians quickly put into places. You are a princess. You better learn quickly. Exactly. And so I definitely want there to be two sides of that coin, right? There's the side of here's how you fit into the world, but also I decide how I fit into the world. Hang on. I need to blow my nose. I'm so excited. I need to blow my nose. Acting before thinking. No thanks. I definitely think there's going to be a little bit of that. I think that being an avatar has made Alethea a little hot-headed. And so I think one of her flaws is that sometimes she doesn't wholly consider the consequences of her actions. She feels this righteous indignation to protect her boundaries or protect what she views as certain boundaries, and maybe she goes a little bit too far when she's taking these actions. And so if we're talking about, like, is she good or bad? She's a little bit of both, right? Because sometimes she does good things, but or is trying to stand up for a good thing, but does it in maybe not the best way, right? And we're going to see that with some of the other characters in the story eventually trying to balance her in some ways. Duality of character can be fun. It's like rolling a dice to see if they behave like they should or don't. Exactly. And I think Alethea is very much... I think Alethea definitely has the angel and the devil on her shoulder, right? And sometimes she listens to the angel, and sometimes she listens to the devil. And I like the idea of they're not necessarily... Because one of the things that I really like in my stories is gray morality, right? We live in a world that is not black and white. There's not always a 100% right and 100% wrong answer to the problems in our society. And so one thing that I don't like to do a lot of the time with my fantasy characters is make them, you know, the paragon character, right? I'm not trying to create a saint. And I have been working on... I'm not going to say Dameron is a saint in my Aravalia Chronicles. I definitely don't think he is. But he is a character who has a very well-defined sense of self. He believes in a certain type of right, and he acts according to what he believes as is right. He doesn't have a lot of crisis of conscience. And in this case, I'm really looking forward to writing a character who doesn't necessarily know right and wrong, who doesn't necessarily always have that confidence of this is who I am, this is what I should do, because it's fresh for me, right? So I'm definitely looking forward to it. A dark shadow that tries to make them do bad things. Exactly. She understands her duty, but understands that she's not a puppet. I like the character already. Yes! Yes! You guys' reactions is really hyping me up. Pets the two wolves, one white and one black. Exactly. And I do think that this is a character who nurtures both sides of herself. So, and especially in the early stages of the book, I really want that kind of impulsive nature to come out. I did have a few other pins for Alethea as well. So this was another one of the sort of, I kind of have a very clear concept of what I want her to look like. I don't know if she's going to be specifically an elf. I haven't exactly defined fantasy races in this world yet. Wow, I squeaked there for a second. But come to think of it, I do think I mentioned there being dwarves in this story. Whoops. I do think I mentioned there being dwarves in this story, so maybe she will be an elf. And so that's sort of... I only have a couple of pins, but the nice thing is, like, if we click on this pin, we can actually scroll down and it will suggest a bunch of similar-looking pins. So we can kind of look around at what some of the suggestions are to get, you know, some more ideas, some more concepts for the character as well. Which is why I say sometimes it seems like... Sometimes when I do this kind of stuff, it doesn't seem like work, because I'm kind of just trolling on Pinterest to see what it throws at me. I do like... I remember from... what was it called? Was it called Arcane? The counselor who had the gold eyeshadow under her eyes. I did really like that as like a concept. And I do think Alethea is going to be a bit of a warrior. I do see her wielding a sword and knowing how to use it. But she definitely also knows magic. Because I did write about her flinging fireballs at one point. So she is probably not going to be a dwarf. I like to write my lady dwarves as having beards. And I don't think Alethea is bearded. I like the idea of elves or fae kind. That's what I was wondering. Is she an elf or is she more like Sylvan descent, right? Because she's the daughter of a goddess, so she probably has an embodiment of magic. So I don't know if I'm going to specifically define her race, but I might say that she is elf-like in appearance or Sylvan in appearance. Doesn't always have to be beautiful. That is true. Gotta go. Neo, thank you so much for stopping by and hearing about this story. I'm going to be working more tomorrow morning on this as well, if you want to come back and hang out more. I do like the idea of her being a sort of indeterminate race, right? And maybe it would be interesting to have her have qualities of all the different races, right? So like maybe she has the elven ears, like the sort of elven ears and the sort of like Sylvan like graceful sort of appearance, but maybe she has kind of the stature of a dwarf as well. Or, you know, she could get particular features from humans as well, right? I'm throwing this out there as I go, but I like the idea of her sort of not necessarily being pinned down as a specific type of race, but sort of you could see her being just about anything, because if she's a goddess and if her mother is like the creator of all races, then she wouldn't necessarily have favored one above others, right? And so it would make sense that her direct descendant wouldn't necessarily embody that favoritism either, if that makes sense. The beard return. I'm so tempted! I'm so tempted to give her a beard. Maybe she can grow a beard. Maybe she's just shaven at the beginning of the story. How long does he need to be? He who? She could be a genome thingy. True. She could be short yet powerful. I could make her. I don't know that I have a specific height in mind for her. How do I want to inconvenience her? Oh. I don't know if I'm going to focus too much on... I do think actually talking about it helps, because I think I have a lot more for her than I initially thought. So I've not used this program before, so this is going to be interesting. So I have actually over here, I have a template that I use for people. So let's see. Let's see if I can sort of copy and paste this over. Whoops. I don't actually know how I start. Hide comments. Disable formatting. It doesn't seem to actually be letting me type on here. I've not used this program before, so I apologize. Do I have to click this one? Okay. I was in the wrong space. There we go. Is that like the edge? It doesn't feel like the edge, but I'll take your word for it. How do I get that menu to come back up? Well, I can tell what I don't like about this program already is that it's not letting me format things the way I want, and I don't know if it's because... I don't know know what I'm doing. Hey, Laurel! Oh, okay, I have to double click on it. Alright. So bold, underline, strike through. Nope. Nope. Do I have to like format in another window and then do it? I'm very, very particular about my formatting, so I'm a little bit annoyed that it's not letting me do what I want it to do. So normally this is where I would do this. So normally I would take this. Did I just move something? That would be bad. So normally this is where I would put text. Oops. Now, why doesn't it let me format it? That's not doing what I want it to do now either. Is that all it has? Is that... How entertaining this must be! I clearly need a bit more of a tutorial on how this works. Edit character. So wait, where does this go then? Because if I do that, it doesn't show up in here. Maybe I need to, maybe I need to look up a little bit more information about how this is supposed to work before I understand. Is there like a tutorial for this? Unfortunately, I think most of their tutorials are videos, which I don't want to watch on screen, on stream. So I might have to do this. I might have to do this another time. So maybe for now, I apologize because I have used this program exactly not at all. So maybe what we'll do for now until I figure out how formatting works is we'll actually just use the novel pad, or not the novel pad, the OneNote, which is what I usually use anyway. So I think we actually talked a lot about her personality. So I might start there. So I think I like the idea of her being like fiery, right? And having this really volatile personality. Also, Laurel, sorry, you came in when I was just starting to try and figure this out. How are you and what are you up to? I didn't mean to not really stop and say hey. I was getting very deep in trying to figure out what I was doing. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I'm one of those people who I'm really finicky about formatting when I'm working on stuff, because I want it to look nice, and if it doesn't look nice to my eyes, then it's harder for me to work on. Some writers don't care what it looks like. I do. I care a lot. All right. So let's start with personality. Also, I guess while I do this, I should turn on a writing sprint in case anyone's watching and wants to use them. I don't know how much I will be using the sprints today, but I will turn them on in case anyone here is also trying to do words, and I am going to be typing for the next little while, so I moved everything. All right. I wonder actually, so I have another work in progress, which won't see light of day for a while, where my gods can sort of change height. So I wonder if like Alethea is kind of like shorter normally, but when she uses like her goddess powers, she can like grow bigger, but not grow taller, but like bigger. Like if you think of when you blow up an image, like in Photoshop, how you just make all of the features bigger, that she can just basically like size up when she uses her goddess powers. And then when she stops using her goddess powers, she goes back to being small again. Random idea, but I kind of like that idea that like when she gets really, really pissed off, suddenly she's like 3 times the size and people are like, oh shit. I'm great, thanks. How are you? Kaylee came running when you said fiery personality. Nice. I'm doing pretty good. Starting this new project today, just trying to get an idea of the characters, and just sort of writing down whatever I come up with so that I can start outlining this story. Trying to think of the right word that I want to use here. I don't think indignation is what I'm going for here. Defensiveness. I hear ghost talking downstairs. I think also she should have the ability to inspire, right? Since she is the daughter of a goddess. Kind of similar to Wraith, she usually appears as a short half-human dragon, but when she's mad or in battle mode, she grows like 4 times bigger and takes her true ethereal form. Makes sense. What is this? What is this? Alright, apparently we're gonna watch this.
Megan's actually gonna be happy.
Did he sacrifice me?
Here she is. Here she is.
What the hell? I've been in his cult for 5 minutes. Was my character actually happy?
Nobody clipped this.
Nobody clipped this. Oh my god. I've been in his cult for 5 minutes. I asked? I asked?
She's actually gonna be happy.
Age 31? Man, I wish. So is this the same thing? Nobody clipped this?
Because I took the one sacrifice ritual, Megan's actually gonna be happy. Here she is. Here she is. Nobody clipped this. Nobody clipped this. See, look how happy she is. She's like, oh.
Oh my god.
So because I took...
I've been in his cult for 5 minutes and I apparently... So, wait, Flannel and Pie, is he gonna resurrect me? Is he gonna use the resurrection ritual to bring me back? If you only watched my clip first, she wished for it as cropped out. Flannel said I asked to be sacrificed. That's the only way I know. Oh my god. He better... You clip this and show it to him. He better resurrect me. He better unlock the resurrection ritual and use them bones to bring me back from the dead. Or we're gonna have some problems, because I was only in your cult for like 5 minutes, and you gave me the amulet of never sleeping, and I worshipped you day and night. And then you killed me? Come on, dude. Come on. I deserve better. Oh my gosh. I'm working, you guys. I can't just go down there and start beef. My husband is downstairs playing Cult of the Lamb, for anyone who doesn't know. I can't believe I'm already... I literally joined his cult at like 1:53. It's been like an hour and a half. Someone's not getting tea this afternoon. Someone's not getting tea this afternoon. Oh my goodness. Seals Apple, hello. Also Flannel, hello. Oh my goodness. I lost my train of thought now. Tell time to crawl in bed. Masticina, thank you so much for helping with this character creation today and for coming to hang out. I hope you have a great night and sleep well. Back to Lurk I Yeet. Yes, Pi, thank you for coming out of Lurk to start beef between me and my husband. Oh my goodness. Apple, how are you? Have you recovered from the charity stream this weekend? I imagine it was even more hectic for you because you were a team leader. I just showed up when I was told. Ghost's excuse was you were literally asking for it. So if I go down there and ask him to push me off a bridge, he's just gonna do it? Is that it? That's all it takes? How does he get the reward for that quest? I'm dead. How can I give him the reward for killing me? Because usually when a follower gives you a request, you have to talk to them in order to get the faith. So he doesn't, okay. But I wonder if he resurrects me, if he'll get extra reward, extra loyalty rewarded to him or something. Because I saw that I had an exclamation mark of a request. Oh my gosh. Would figure that cult me would just go all in and be like, I want to be dragged down by the tentacles. The more I talk about it, the more realistic it seems, actually. All right, so for Alethea, we have Alethea has a fiery personality. She speaks, acts, and presents herself with confidence, which grants a certain weight to her personality and any discourse undertaken with her. She is intelligent and often grasps new concepts quickly, but where decision-making is concerned, she most often follows her gut, allowing emotion to rule in the heat of the moment. Sometimes this leads to regret for bridges burned or opportunities squandered, but more often it leads to a sense of defensiveness when her quick decisions and hot temper are questioned. When she chooses to, Alethea can speak with the silverest of tongues, rallying the uncertain and inspiring those who believe in a purpose or cause, but she can also be terrifying when aggravated. She is quick to anger and often does not hold back the quite literal flames of her temper when it awakens. Sometimes this flame overpowers even her better judgment, though she is often hesitant to admit when she has stepped too far. I think I want to also touch on the... Hang on. I think I also need to touch on her sort of having, like, despite her confident front, being a little bit conflicted sometimes. I broke Ghost's game, and now there's two of me? How did you... Pi, how? He had to restart. Did he ever get a controller working? Hugs to you, Pi. Oh my goodness. He's using the keyboard like a proper gamer. I don't know why he's got 2 controllers down there and neither of them would work. Just briefly thinking about how I need to get back to Hell's story, and then the first thing I see in my mind's eye is just a 40-foot fire column with flame ribbons. Maybe she thinks you need to get back to it too. Alright. Hey, Woof! We are just making some characters for this work in progress. I don't know how much you have heard. But we're gonna go over it again here in a few minutes. All right, so in addition to what we have about her fiery temper, despite the confidence Alethea exhibits in interactions, it does not always penetrate to her core. Alethea grows increasingly weary of the never-ending and compounding voices of society as they speak about the prophecy and how it must inevitably shape and define her. She wishes to be free of this constant cacophony so that she can shape her own personality and her own destiny. Sometimes this rejection of her heritage and the future assigned to her feeds the flames of her anger and gives rise to her impulsive behavior, but other times it tempers and sobers her, and she becomes determined to prove others wrong by defining herself and her future according to her own wishes. She exists in a constant whirlwind struggle of trying to balance between who she wishes to be, who others demand she be, and who still others insist she must eventually become. But despite her fervent wish to reject and separate herself from her heritage and her past, she accepts the responsibilities which have been laid on her shoulders and steadfastly refuses to abandon them, though she does wish to simply get things over with so she can move on. So I feel like that is the personality. Let's do the physical description. So again, this is sort of the image that we're going for with her. Hestia's in rage mode. That's her rage ability. Uh-oh, that sounds terrifying. Now, did I want to give her... why does it do that? Do I want to give her brown eyes, or do we want to give her, like, celestial eyes? I do like the idea of her maybe having, like, golden eyes. Heterochromia. Ooh, that's a good idea. What would the 2 colors of her eyes be, Bobicus? I don't think I actually have any characters with heterochromia. Heterochromia, rather. Sorry. Words are hard, yo. No, don't. It's a classic. My character is super special move. That's fair. I think I like the idea of, because if I give her gold colored eyes, they can look amber, just like a sort of amber brown color when she is not using her goddess powers. But then when she uses her goddess powers, it can sort of like enhance the golden color. And again, because I'm thinking that she kind of, without realizing it, when she uses her goddess powers, she sort of starts to embody the avatar that she is and sort of changes in subtle ways. So I kind of like that idea of like when you just look at her when she's not like in power mode, it would just be like sort of soft gold amber eyes. But then if you take another look, or if she starts to be like turning on the goddess stuff, they would actually look different or more special. And it would be a more subtle change, if that makes sense. She's the quiet one you have to watch out for type. Absolute sweetheart, but just don't push her anxiety fear threshold or threaten anyone she cares about. Sounds fair. Although I do like the idea of a shifter that has heterochromia, because cats do tend to have it a lot. That'll be relevant till later, maybe. So let's see. How long do I want her hair to be? I think it's gonna be maybe around shoulder length. Because I'm thinking shoulder length hair, it gives me the ability to do different styles, but like when she's in combat, it also wouldn't be like everywhere. Hestia has amber eyes that turn burnt orange and glow when she uses her abilities. Yeah, I'm kind of going for something similar to that. Let's see. So we said that she was gonna have pointed elven-like ears. I'm gonna make her like just under 5 feet tall. She can also change the color of her flames to match her mood. Interesting. I actually had a character whose hair changed color with her mood because she had like techie extensions that did it. Different story than this one. Hey, Peter, how are you? I almost said how's up. How are you? Lost my mood ring, but I don't know how I feel about it. I know, right? Because you don't have the mood ring to tell you. I like how you were like heterochromia, and I was like, yeah, I could get on that train, just because I've never actually created a character that had 2 different colored eyes. Even when I did like all of my really edgy, like super dumb beginning characters, I don't think I ever had a character that had 2 different colored eyes. I've never actually done it. I skipped that milestone, I guess. Alright, and then we have skills. So I usually do skills and abilities. Skills are things that are essentially mundane and learned, so like sword skill, and then abilities are sort of innate. Not that they can't be trained, but so I usually put mundane skills under skills and magical powers under abilities. So we are going to say that Alethea is well educated, because this is a fantasy world, probably not exactly medieval, but medieval-esque, and so most people are not going to have access to education because it's expensive. So we're going to have a lot of people who are trade educated, which is not to say that they're not intelligent, but just that you need money to have access to education in this world. So Alethea probably comes from some kind of privileged upbringing because she has book learning. Can I share a potentially popular opinion? I really love super greasy and oily popcorn. Nice. Me too, although I can't really eat it anymore. Book learning. Exactly. So I think I'm going to say well-educated and well-read, because those would be significant things in this particular world. So I'm going to say history, religion, and arcane arts are probably what she studied. Thinking, because I don't have a lot of characters that do like the fencing style rapier kind of combat, I'm thinking that I want her to favor that and possibly also carry a shield, because I don't have a lot of, again, I don't have a lot of characters that do that kind of stuff, so I'm trying to go something super fresh here. So like how Artemis and Apollo learned archery skills, but then Art has the innate ability to shapeshift. Exactly. I do that for myself because that way I know which of my characters have magic and which of them don't. If I have written no specific abilities, then I know that I didn't intend that character to be magical, if that makes sense. More like arcane farts. Lol. That's alright if you're salty and sassy today, Peter. It's all good. I hope everything is okay. Obviously, if you're making your own characters, like, organize things how it makes sense for you. This is just how it makes sense for me, so this is how I do it. So I'm also saying that she has training as a diplomat, but that she's not necessarily good at it. So she's been taught how to play well with others, but she don't. I'm in a bit of a mood. I went back to my writing class and one guy read for 25 minutes out of a 2-hour class, and I just don't have patience for that. It happened last time I went as well and has apparently become a thing that people accept in my absence. Was it the same guy or just a different person? This is the first time I've been back since everything happened and I didn't want to talk about it, so it was like, yeah, just been busy babysitting and whatnot. I mean, I can understand not wanting to talk about what's going on in your life with the people in your writing class, especially if you're not close with them. Alright, and then abilities. We know that she is, well, at least I know that she is a somewhat powerful mage. Now, I haven't entirely decided how magic works in this world yet, which is something that I will have to settle on, but might not settle on until I actually write the first draft. And see how magic kind of feels for me in this world, if that makes sense. I'm thinking there are different elemental disciplines. I'm thinking that that's something that's more defined in this particular world than in some of the other ones that I've written. A lot of times when I write mages, there's just a general sense of arcane ability, and there's a lot of, you know, whatever, throwing around whatever type of spell is useful at the time. But I'm thinking in this world there are more specific elemental schools, and that most mages only wield specific elements. But I think Alethea has a grounding in all of the elements, even though she probably favors fire and defensive skills. That would set her apart from other mages, but I'm thinking that her skill with, like, she has a touch of ability with the other elements, but she still has her favorite elements. In theory, I don't think there's anything preventing people from studying more and touching upon more magic, so she's not necessarily super special in that regard, but it is significant that she has that sort of aptitude, if that makes sense. I'm trying to make it so that Alethea seems special in some ways, but that most of that specialness is sort of exacerbated by the way people respond and act to her, more so than how she holds or carries herself, if that makes sense. She isn't necessarily, you don't necessarily look at her and think she's special, or you don't necessarily see her do something and think she's special, but because people know who she is and know about this prophecy, they sort of set her apart or expect her to be set apart. And so I'm trying to avoid that, you know, early character syndrome where the character is just ultra special and everything about her is great and wonderful and she doesn't have any problems and everyone just adores her. I'm trying to avoid that, but still give her a couple of traits that sort of do set her a little bit apart. Which ultimately, I think, instead of making her feel special, I think most of these things make her feel alienated, right? Because people notice, and the more they notice her being other or being different, the more they treat her differently, right? So that's kind of a little bit what I'm going for. Almost like if you saw Avatar: The Last Airbender, kind of like the part where Aang realizes that being the Avatar isn't all cool and wonderful because there are all these expectations of him all of a sudden, and he can't just do the things that he wants to do and just sort of be the carefree airbender that he wants to be because expectations. Although while there was massive babbling going on, I did manage to start a rough outline of a new writing project. Nice! I managed 3 pages front and back of ideas in the time Old Man Rivers was babbling. That's pretty impressive in 25 minutes, Peter. Alright, so... I'm defining now what the hang on, let me push this down a bit so you can see. I'm defining now what the elements are. So I'm thinking you've got your typical earth, air, fire, water, light, and then I'm thinking maybe force will be one, because I'm thinking of like shields, like defensive magic. And I'm thinking that actually light and shadow will be together, right? Because by manipulating light, you can create or abolish darkness. So instead of having light and dark be separate entities in this world, I'm thinking that they'll be sort of the same school. So I'm actually going to put light, shadow, and force. Which is mostly defensive. So force is like any kind of mage shield or any kind of like, just sort of any kind of force that pushes or like manipulation of gravity. Anything that doesn't necessarily have an elemental definition to it, but is something that you would typically think of mages throwing around. So not much to say there. I might add a little note here about her having divine powers. But I think that's going to be something that doesn't play a huge role in the first book, and I can always come back and write more notes on that later. So let's say... ties together a few thoughts and ideas I'd already had, so I was like, I can use this there and that there, and it was like a confluence of ideas. Nice! I love it when that happens, Peter. Kaylee embraces her abilities, but at the same time doesn't flaunt them. Yeah, I think that Alethea kind of doesn't have a choice. Like, even if she doesn't try to flaunt her differences, I think they get thrown in her face a lot. Which I think is what is gonna partially make this character interesting, is that she's just trying to be... She's just trying to be a boring, normal person, and everyone else is like, no, but you're special, and I hate you for it. gonna sneeze, probably. Possibly. Okay. I didn't sneeze yet. Alright. I keep forgetting I don't have to save in OneNote. Alright, and then we have a history section. I don't know a lot about Aleth's history yet. And this is something that I might come back and fill in a little bit later after I've done a bit more of the planning. I think that she was probably raised in temples. I think that she was probably, I think that she was probably treated like nobility, even though I don't know that she came from a noble family. I think that her history is a little bit vague. I think that no one is entirely sure how old she is, or how long she's been around, or how long she spends at each specific place. And I think that if people are asked about her, they're not necessarily able to define specific time periods. Gonna go to sleep now. Good night, Pie. Thank you so much for lurking and hanging out and starting beef between me and Ghost. Have a good night. I hope you sleep well. Kaylee has rumors about her that get thrown around her skull, but she neither confirms nor denies them. Nice. Sorry, I just gotta fix my mat here. But I don't know how much of that is me wanting her history to be a little bit vague, and how much of it is, me just not knowing. So I'm only gonna write a little bit in here, I think. And I'll probably come back and revisit this later, which is fine, because I actually, writing this, I think I have a fairly well-defined idea of this character compared to what I thought I did. So I think this is going to be a really good basis for us to use, for me to use to create a story. I keep saying us, but for me to use. I'm already spelling my made-up name wrong. Janine. How are you? So sort of nebulous history, but it gives me a little something to work with. And then for other important information, this is something I haven't mentioned yet, but I'm thinking about how complex I should make my bad guy history. Good question. It depends how much his history ties in with what he's doing and how much his history has shaped him as a villain. Then again, sometimes a very simple thing can lead to a certain type of behavior, or it might be complicated when you start peeling away the layers. I know that's not a helpful answer, but you could go either way. This is something I haven't mentioned yet, but Alethea, when we first start the story, is on a pilgrimage. Part of the prophecy that she is meant to fulfill involves this pilgrimage. And that is going to be a central part of what's happening in the story. So for other information, I'm just going to mention that Alethea is on a pilgrimage, that only she really knows and understands the details of how the pilgrimage must be fulfilled or undertaken, and that at the end of this pilgrimage is when she will fulfill the prophecy that she's meant to fulfill. Shograz, how are you? Have you made any new characters? Just one. We are finishing up Alethea, who is our main character in this new series that I'm starting. Probably after we finish Alethea, I'm gonna start brewing some tea, and then we will start on the next character. I would like to get through at least 3 today because I have 3 major characters. You can kind of see over here that I have a specific number of characters. The last couple won't necessarily have a ton of information on them. So if I can get through 3 today and possibly the Watchers, we would be in good shape. A character fact, Alethea. Well, you've missed a lot of what we've been talking about. Cheers, Peter. Thanks for the hydrate. And the posture check. Let's get set up straight in our chair here. Alethea is the daughter of a goddess. She is the child of everyone's mother. And she... I mean, I can read you the character sheet. She has a fiery temper. She often acts impulsively. And when I say she has a fiery temper, I mean she literally lobs fireballs when she gets angry. So she's everyone's sister? Maybe. We don't know yet. She's definitely the daughter. She's the daughter of the ultimate creator goddess. And she is supposed to fulfill a prophecy. We don't yet know exactly what the prophecy is. I think it's the kind of thing where everybody has their own idea of the prophecy. But what she really wants is just to fulfill the prophecy so she can be done with it and move on with her life, because she doesn't want to be a divine avatar. She just wants everyone to get out of her face. Ciri is what is called a goddess in training. She is part of a group called the Watchers, who are kind of a cult. We'll get into that a bit more later, but they're kind of a cult. And they believe that they need to watch over everything that's happening in the world and make sure that it happens according to some grand design. So they believe that they are kind of not necessarily in charge of, but they are sort of safeguarding the future. They sort of have oracles who have foreseen how things are supposed to go, and they are trying to make sure that things go that way. So Ciri is kind of keeping an eye on Alethea because Alethea is supposed to fulfill a prophecy, and Ciri wants to make sure that it gets fulfilled the way the Watchers think it should be fulfilled. They're actually a cult, so they don't call themselves a cult. They don't present themselves as a cult. They present themselves as a legitimate organization, but they're a cult. If you peel back the veil, they're a cult. I can't say that, Peter, because my iPad will answer me. Your face is a cult. I joined Ghost's cult and he sacrificed me, apparently, like 5 minutes later. So, in a way, aren't we all children of goddesses? Well, that's kind of part of the concept of the book. And yet, when I lob fireballs, there's charges and forensics. Exactly. I hope that easiest sacrifice. I hope that satisfies you, Shugraz. If you were looking for something a little more specific, let me know. But these characters, we haven't even done Ciri yet. These characters are very in progress. So other important information. Why is it not giving me my cursor? All right. So now all I'm going to do is I'm going to make this a wiki style document by putting the links to each of these sections here so I can find them easily. And that's it. We've created our first character. It took much longer than I hoped it would. But like I said, if we can get through 3 today, that will be very good. I am going to go throw the kettle on to make some tea. And then I will show you the picture in a second. It is on Pinterest. And then we will start working on the second character. So the other important information section is where I basically put secrets for myself to be aware of later on. All right. So that's Alethea. Here is the picture, Shugraz. This is sort of the inspiration that we used for Alethea, for coming up with Alethea. And the character we are going to do next is called Jaolin, and this is the inspiration that we're going to be using for him. So I'm going to talk a bit about him while my tea is steeping. Rhyme is what I call a second shadow, a being who acts as a guardian and guide to their chosen person or people, but from a darker race like demons instead of something like an angel. Interesting. I like that name. Let's do Ciri next. No, we're going to do Jaolin next because I'm kind of doing the major characters in order of how major they are. What does Ciri look like? Do I have a picture for her? I think the only picture I have for her is this picture because you don't really see her. She's supposed to be a figure hidden in shadows. So this is supposed to be sort of the concept for Ciri, is that she hides in a cloak of shadows. But I do think she's gonna be a redhead, Shagraz, if that makes you happy. Jalen is more important. You'll like him, Shagraz, because the shadow tentacles are part of the concept. I promise. I promise. Redhead? Yes, I think Ciri has red hair. So yeah, I am going to pop. I like redheads. I had a feeling, Shagraz. I'm gonna pop AFK just long enough to throw the kettle on and get some tea steeping, and then I will be back. And we will talk a little bit about Jalen and Ciri, because actually the two of them are sort of foil to each other. So we will be talking about Ciri in a minute, Shagraz. And then once I have my tea, we'll actually start filling in some details about them. So give me 2 minutes and I'll be back. All right. Tea is brewing. So, Shagraz, I hope you're listening because we're going to talk about your girl Siri here for a second. The reason why I say that we'll be talking about Siri and Jeolin at the same time is that they kind of are foiled to each other. They kind of play off of each other and play opposite each other. So basically, on this pilgrimage that Alethea is undertaking, she is going to meet many people, but two of the main people that she ends up sort of interacting with, or that end up interacting with her and her quest, are Jeolin and Siri. One of them is sent to subvert the prophecy, and one of them is sent to prevent it by killing Alethea. So basically, one of them is attempting to manipulate her, and the other is attempting to murder her. And you're not really supposed to know who's who. Hey, Lomi, how are you? What's interesting about Jeolin, Siri is, so each of them are sent by a different group. Siri is sent by the Watchers, and she fully buys into the vision of the Watchers. She wants to be one of their main members. Oh my gosh, Ghost Pepper! Hello! Is this your attempt to appease me for having been sacrificed by raiding me? Thank you for the spicy raid. Spicy raid, I guess. Hey, it's Mumbles. Hey, Bardowl. Ooh, shout out. That's what I'm trying to do. No, you're not trying to appease me for sacrificing me. My husband has been playing Cult of the Lamb. He sacrificed me to his dark god. I would have resurrected you already, but I don't have enough bones. Well, you better get enough bones, buddy. You better get them bones. Did I ask you to? How do you get the reward for that quest, by the way? Sometimes you just gotta do it to him. I can't believe I'm here for an evening stream. Yeah, how are you, Lomi? What is up? It was a very romantic sacrifice. I saw a clip of it. I didn't see any romance in there, although there were tentacles, so I did kind of forgive him for the tentacle bit. Oh, you just get it. After I'm dead, you just get it. We lit candles. So anyway, as I was saying, we are building characters for my new novel. For those of you who don't know me, I guess I should do an intro. Hi, I'm Ghost Pepper's wife, Starburn Striker, aka Megan Cutler. I am a science fiction and fantasy writer. My novels are on Amazon. If you're interested in checking those out, hit !books. Or hit !new release to see my newest book, which came out yesterday, book 8 in the Eternity's Empire series. And today we are creating characters for my new work in progress working title, Everyone's Child. We've done the main character, Alethea, and now we are working on the next two characters, Jeolin and Siri, who are sort of the opposing forces in her journey. And as I was saying, Siri sort of buys into the group who has sent her to do her job, but Jeolin has another interesting addendum to his quest in that he has a personal quest aside from the one he has been sent to fulfill, and that is that he would like to be free of his taint at some point in the distant past, possibly by accident or possibly due to his own error. Jeolin was tainted by a dark force, which has sort of permanently tied him to a shadow being, which sort of infects him, and I think sometimes tries to force him to do things that he doesn't necessarily want to do. Hence the shadow tentacles in the background of the concept picture. That's how I shall refer to you now. What is how you shall refer to me now? Ghost Pepper's wife. 10 tickles equals 1 romance. A different cultist gave me the reward from killing their friend. Nice. Doing okay working on a map. Nice. Good luck, Lomi. Maps are hard. Oh, you shall refer to me now as Ghost Pepper's wife. This is a Nate Dogg's wife. I am married to Nate Dogg, aka Ghost Pepper. Why you not refer to her as Ghost Pepper's waifu? That's too weird. He wants to be free of his taint. Yes, he is tainted by dark magic. Get your heads out of the gutter. He wants to be free of his taint. I said it. I never should have told you people about Nate Dog. Too much tentacles up in that taint. I don't know that there are actual shadow tentacles. Maybe there are. I don't know. Take a bit of a screen break and do some last minute D&D prep. I am going to pop AFK and grab my tea, which is steeping. I did not offer Ghost tea today because earlier he came upstairs and said, "Where do you keep the junk tea?" As if there's tea in this house that's garbage. But there's hot water in the kettle if you want some. I don't know if it's demonic. I want to stress that the reason why I'm referring to it as taint is because I don't think it's demonic in nature. But it's definitely not nice. He also says he hates birds? How can you... What? But Barred Owl is so sweet and nice. How can you hate burbs? I know, junk tea, right? As if I just have shitty tea kept in the house somewhere. I know that he sacrificed me, I've been told. All right, let me go grab my tea. I won't go BRB, I'll just pop up the me drinking tea and I will be right back. I know, Bard, I'm heartbroken to hear that he done you dirty like that. Burbs are the best. Alright, I am back. I have returned. I don't know if you guys could hear Ghost talking to me, but he was telling me about his misfortune in the game. What did I miss? Owls are top tier animals? Absolutely. Singing owl, I'm pretty sure. It's a play on barred owl. Oh, interesting. I didn't know that. Accused for murder once. It was a lawyer trying to create reasonable doubt. Look up the staircase owl theory. Dang, I'm gonna fall down this hole later tonight. If you want more information about the case, there's a whole docu-series about the murder and subsequent trial on Netflix. Yes, please. I fell down that rabbit hole once. I'm gonna fall down it tonight. Today I am drinking blueberry green tea, which was given to me by the lovely, the fabulous It's Woof. So thank you. Bard, thank you so much. 6 months. I can't believe it. Holy wow. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I think birds are the best. There you go. Difference between me and Nate Dog. I don't know why he told you guys about that, but okay. So we're gonna start working on Jalen. I'm thinking he's gonna look somewhat like this, but again, we can kind of scroll down and just see, because Pinterest always tries to give you sort of images that are similar. So we can just see if there's anything interesting. I feel like he's been sort of attached to some kind of eldritch force. I don't know if it's like, I don't think it's like some dark god kind of thing. I feel like it's magic gone wrong, or some kind of magic being that is trying to escape a prison that he like inadvertently touched the edge of. But the main thing, the important thing, is to know that he is basically infected with some kind of dark magic. Now, there isn't necessarily inherently good and evil magic in this world, so it is the being on the other end is the evil force, essentially. There's not much here, and I don't think I kind of only did like the one image for this guy. So, let's see. You're welcome, Bard, but thank you, because you are the best. I was playing Minecraft with my fam, but nobody told me you could just tame all the parrots. So I kept feeding them when they came up, so I just have a cloud of parrots now. Nice! Yeah. You can tame a bunch of... You can tame the cats, and if you put the cats around your base, the creepers won't come, because creepers are afraid of cats. So, I don't know. Ghost was playing a version that had cat slippers in it. I don't know if that's in the default Minecraft or if that was a mod pack, but yeah, creepers are afraid of cats. So if you get a bunch of cats, the creepers won't come near you. That is not what we're working on. We're working on this. So let's move down to Jalen. Ignore that. That was a note for myself. We're gonna copy this template. And we are here. You are here. Physical description. I'm thinking he's gonna be human. Just, you know, we've got our ultra fantasy being, and now we're gonna have our human love interest. Yes, he's gonna be the love interest at some point. I said it, there's a romantic subplot. Jalen is the love interest. Lots of gray areas with magic. Yeah, magic is just magic. How it's used defines whether it's good or bad. So the force itself does not have an embodiment of good or bad. Comf Comf, hello! He is not gonna fall in love with Siri, Shagras. They're enemies, so... Exactly, it's neutraling nature. Comf, how are you? What is up? Are you finished with work for the day? Is Siri gonna fall in love with him? Probably not. I have to say, Siri's kind of a cold bitch. Siri's kind of in love with power and nothing else. Hope you're well. Hey, Spectre, how are you? I'm doing pretty good. How are you? Still have 2 hours and 10 minutes. Well, hopefully we can give you some nice background to your work. Some nice chill background. So I'm gonna go with, I pretty much want him to look like this. So I'm gonna go with the olive skin and the like brown hair, dark brown hair. Okay, so Jalen, human. Probably, I'm gonna say late 20s. He has to be old enough that he dabbled with magic he shouldn't have. Or he at least appears to be in his late 20s. He might be older than that. How long should his hair be? I'm thinking a little bit long. Do we want to go like chin length, or do we just want to say that it's like when a guy has just let his hair start growing a little bit? Eating some dinner, watching some anime, multitasking, saying what up to the stream. Nice. What anime are you watching, Spectre? What if he's the kind of guy who will love a woman who will just straight up kill him, though? I mean, it's possible. I feel like the issue with Siri and Jalen falling in love is not Jalen. The issue is on the Siri side. She has no interest in love. It is useless to her. Siri is married to her career. Kelly has been exploring her abilities since she was 5. Nice. Siri loves those tentacles. I don't think she... Well, I mean, she would love them if they were hers. Caught up in the old school Yu Yu Hakusho. Nice. In the middle of the Dark Tournament saga. Enjoy. That was an anime I never finished, but always wanted to go back to. What color eyes should we give this guy? I'm actually thinking maybe he should have purple eyes because of the taint. What are we talking about? We're just building a character for this new book. Pink. Megalodon, hello. I don't think I'm gonna go with pink. I don't want to have too many wild colors, but I do think that if someone is like magically infected with like a type of magic, it would make sense that it might affect their eyes. The 90s vibes are real with this show. Yes, absolutely. Purple sounds nice. I think so too. I was gonna say blue and then they like glow purple, but I was like, why don't I just make them purple? All right. I'm gonna say long-ish. It's long enough. His hair is long enough to grab a few handfuls. Take that the wrong way, guys. They glow in the dark, specifically. Kind of almost like cat eyes, I'm thinking. I just realized that I just gave a character purple glowing eyes, which is a characteristic of one of Lomi's main characters. But I swear that I didn't do that on purpose. Helio Gale, thank you so much for the follow. I totally was not thinking of Rune at all. Thank you, Helio Gale, so much. So it's not tainted magic. It's actually like he's actually like infected with like a thing. There's like, if you think about warlocks in D&D and how they make a pact with the shadow, or with a patron, it doesn't necessarily have to be a shadow creature. It's kind of like that he's sort of had a patron forced on him, but it kind of lives in his body. So there's kind of like some weird magic thing hitching a ride in his body that he's trying to get rid of. And so there are these weird signs of it, like his eyes are like cat's eyes in the dark, like they glow a little bit. And sometimes you can see these like dark shadows moving through under his skin. And I'm thinking that sometimes when he bleeds, it ain't blood. But I haven't gotten that far yet. Honestly, swear I was not thinking of Rune. Until you said, oh no, they glow. And then I was like, oh no, what have I done? Kaylee has half-gray, pale blue eyes. They're swirled. We think it's because of being unusually powerfully psychic. Nice. I don't know what his natural eye color is, but I don't know if it matters. Because even though he wants to be free of the taint, I don't know if he ever will be. We can always figure out what his real eye color is later. Also, he basically looks like this, which I don't think that's what Rune looks like, but if that is what he looks like, let me know. It just means he's already my favorite. Gaia. What if his real eye color is purple? That'll throw them for a loop. It would. Maybe his eyes can never change back. Maybe even if he gets free of like whatever's in him, maybe he still can't like fully get rid of all of the side effects. I'm thinking that he's gonna be a bit bulky in the muscle department. Let's see. I'll go back and put this here. But I do think he's gonna have like dark circles under his eyes as if he doesn't sleep well. Or seeming to indicate. I don't think he's gonna have any other... How tall should he be? Oh yeah. He's gotta have some scruff. We should say that he's around 6 feet tall, maybe? He's gonna be way taller than our main character, but we made her a little bit short on purpose. Once tainted, always tainted? That's right, Shagraz. Dark circles can relate. I feel you. You can see mine right here. Rhyme has one bright yellow eye. The other one is permanently covered by a black wax-like substance. Interesting. Oh no, Shagraz, I'm afraid of what comes next in this statement. Let's see. I think that's all we need for a physical description. I think Ciri and him are gonna fall in love. I beg to differ, Shagraz. I beg to differ. Who is really the god of this world, Shagraz? You or me? So now we have to talk a little bit about Jaehalen's personality. And I'm thinking in order for him to have been tainted by dark magic, he has to be an adventurous kind of person. He has to be very curious. He has to be the kind of person who would never stay out of the places he was told to stay out of. Someone who's always trying to put his fingers in everything. So someone who just naturally has that curiosity and very little sense of self-preservation until the tainting. That probably gave him a little bit more of a sense of self-preservation. I want to say that he is charming, but that it's like a false charm. That he has sort of learned to put on the charm, but he isn't necessarily... He's not necessarily a suave guy, but he's learned to pretend that he's a suave guy. And maybe sometimes you can see through the suave guy to the nerd who wouldn't stop touching all the books he wasn't supposed to touch. Oh my gosh, it is windy like it's gonna thunderstorm again. And I hope it doesn't thunderstorm like it did last night because it scared me a little bit that the power was just gonna die. You cannot stop this ship. It will sail on in Fanon. That's true. Shagraz, if you would like to write some fan fiction about Ciri and Jaehalen falling in love, please do. I would love to read it on stream. In a word, meddlesome. Yes. I'm thinking that he didn't go full 180 when he got tainted as well. I think he has that, what would you call it? Joie de vivre, that joy of life. It's just tempered a little bit by the, hey, maybe if I try this again, I might die next time. And I don't really want to die. I've already got a just one bedroom fic plotline ready to put onto the page. Babakis, I'm here for that. Little Bit needs a snack, so I'm out now. Thank you, Lomi, for stopping by. Good luck with Little Bit. Have a good night. And good luck with your map. What do you mean, how rude, Shagraz? I'm in support. I'm in support of your fanfic. How dare you support my fanfic? What kind of creator are you? You're supposed to hate all the fanfics. So let's say... So, he has continued to seek new knowledge, especially hidden, lost, or forbidden knowledge as an adult. I can hear the mocking tone. Shagraz! If you want to write fanfic, I support you. That is not mocking at all. I don't know that I think you're gonna do it. That's a little bit mocking. But you know what? If you finish a whole story, I promise I will do a stream where I read it. You have my promise that if you write an entire story, I will read it on stream. You just don't strike me as a write a whole story kind of person. You strike me as a actually having a life and going out and doing things with people person. Which is more of a compliment than anything else. I'm the one who takes the backhanded compliment on that. If you want to prove me wrong, Shagraz, if you want to be one of the nerds, come to the dark side. I'll accept you. Opening line, Siri walked into the room, cold heart filled with lust, but not for anything sexy like a boy, but instead for power. Yes, perfect. On the bed lay Jalen, tainted by powers that Siri wanted to be tainted by too, though she would never say so out loud. Perfect. Bobicus, you're nailing it. Okay. I'm probably putting some of this information should probably be not under personality, but people call it infected by the shadow or taint. Writing is so easy, yo. Sometimes it is, and it's nice when it is. I'm glad that I inspired you. I'm glad that my scribbles inspired somebody. All right. So, Jalen's skills, as I'm working on this, I kind of feel like I don't want to say he's Indiana Jonesy because I don't think he's like an archaeologist, but I think he's kind of an explorer. I think he likes to go out and catalog things. He likes to find new books. He's kind of a lifelong student, maybe. I kind of feel like he was studying magic, and he was sort of trying to find forgotten magic, perhaps, and he stumbled upon a ritual that he maybe shouldn't have undertaken and touched something that has been forbidden for some time for good reason, and now he's kind of screwed because he can't find any of the information he needs to reverse it. And it's sort of a worsening situation for him. So I'm thinking he probably has the skills of a scribe. He probably knows how to read and write, which, as we've established in this world, are not necessarily skills that every person has. He probably knows a little bit of cartography. He's probably a little bit, he's probably like a backpacker, right? He knows how to climb. He knows how to survive in the wilds. He knows how to find his way when he is in unfamiliar territory or becomes lost. He's probably not specifically a warrior, but he probably has survival skills. He opened the Chamber of Secrets. He did, and it touched him, and he didn't like it. It was cold and dark and clammy. Jalen leaned over and said, "Hey girl, I'm very tortured." Siri bit her lip, thinking about Jalen's suffering and how much cooler that suffering would be if he wore black leather pants. Brows. But what if he wore the black leather pants and then took them off? Brows. I hear thunder. Shit. If I disappear suddenly, you know why. It's the thunderstorm. It's back. We never have more than one thunderstorm a year, and this is like our fourth one. This is crazy. I can't tell you how crazy this is. What was I gonna say? Alright. Abilities. We already know that he is or was an accomplished mage at some point in time. So remember I was saying that in this world, I think light and dark are the same school of magic, that basically by manipulating light, you are also creating or destroying darkness. I think just for poetic justice, we're going to say Jaelin was skilled in the light school of magic. So probably whatever has happened with this shadow being has enhanced his power, but possibly not always in good ways. All I can think of now is the Imagine Dragons song Thunder. Nice. I don't mind thunderstorms, but we have D&D tonight, so I would rather it didn't knock out our power. Now that said, I might hear one rumble of thunder and that might be the end of it, so the mountains might just take that and toss it aside. Now I'm trying to think what his secondary school would be. Possibly Earth might make sense. Because remember we said there was Earth, Air, Fire, Water, Light, Shadow, and Force. So I'm thinking because he explores a lot, Earth magic is probably a good secondary school for him. All right. I think probably Jaelin was probably not noble-born, but probably because he was so voracious as a child, he was probably given to a temple by his parents, so that would explain why he was raised as a scribe. He eventually manifested magical abilities, was taken into a mage school, and eventually, at some point, attempted forbidden magic, which left him infected by the shadow, as I've been calling it in the bio, and sort of tainted him with this shadow essence or this shadow magic that he's not entirely in control of. And I don't know if he knows whether it's a being or just a force that he's sort of awakened and hasn't been able to put back to sleep. And so I think that's going to be the main stuff. So... apparently I'm losing my ability to spell. Because I'm looking at the clock, it's almost 5:30, and I would like to get through at least one more character before we finish today, because I'd like to get through all the major players. Alright, and last, the important information. There are two main factions who are interested in what's happening with Alethea. They are the Watchers, represented by Ciri, and the Mage Council, represented by Jeolin in the story. And Jeolin was sent by the Mage Council to interfere with Alethea, whereas Ciri was sent by the Watchers. Perfect. So, we're gonna do Ciri next, your girl, Shagraz. Ooh, she reached down and undid her stiletto heels while palming her stiletto knife. She was going to be ready for action, come what may. The lights in the room dimmed. It made sense. Jeolin was a powerful shadowcaster, after all. Was this his way of setting a trap? But the real trap was in his eyes. Dark, limpid pools of inky blackness that wrapped Ciri in their magics. It was a trap indeed, and she couldn't help but fall for it. No. For him. Bobicus. Alright, let me do these links very quickly. I'm just going to pop AFK for 1 second and reheat my coffee, and then we're gonna do Ciri, because I think she's going to be quick and easy. I think she's a little bit less known than some of the other characters, but I think she's supposed to be a little bit of a mystery, because I think when someone joins the Watchers, their history is erased. One of the ways that you can tell that they're a cult, because their ties are then specifically to the guild or the cult, and it makes them easier to control. That's not what they tell their members, but that's sort of what they're going for, is that essentially they want people to devote themselves fully to the cause, and in exchange for doing so, they receive power. So let's see if we can do a quick 15-minute description of Ciri here, and then I will have to raid because I will have to get ready for D&D. All right. Let's do it. Let's design Ciri for Shagraz. Let's do it for Shagraz. So let's get our templates. Let's do it. So I think we're gonna make Ciri have that Sylvan appearance, that like full elf appearance that we didn't give Aleith. But I think that she can also cloak herself in illusion, so she can look like anyone she wants. Shagraz, if you're listening, do you have an eye color preference? I might just give her green eyes, though. Ciri sat down next to Jaelin and traced her hand up his arm. Have you heard the good news? Capitals. After Jaelin shook his head, she said, I thought not. It's a story a mage would tell you, but the Watchers want you to know that you are loved. All you have to do is accept them into your heart. Hey, Piano Ninja! Oh my gosh, I have that same mug. Really? I got these for my husband for our 10th wedding anniversary. He uses the Mr. mug and I use the Mrs. mug. I got him that because we went to Disney World for our honeymoon, so it felt like a good 10th anniversary. My mom gave them to me for our wedding. Nice! That's awesome! Good wedding gift. Piano Ninja, how are you? What is up? We're just seeing if we can create this character before I have to go get ready for D&D tonight. So I'll be pretty tall. Personality, I think Ciri is fairly cold and detached, because this is a person who has adopted this idea of watching over the world and making sure that events unfold the way they're supposed to. And in order to do that, she has to basically not have attachment to specific people or specific countries, or even necessarily a specific philosophy other than the one fed to her by the Watchers. So I think she's probably fairly young for an elf, has probably sort of been taken in by this promise of power and this promise of becoming something more and more powerful than what she is. And so she has sort of shed her attachment to everything else. She is ambitious. She is eager to please her mentors. But I don't think that she cares about much outside of advancement and thus pleasing the people who can give her advancement. And I think because she's fairly young, she might have a little bit of an underdeveloped personality. So there might be a little bit of an emptiness where someone who is older and a little bit more world-wise would fill in with knowledge, right? So I think that's what we're going to put in the personality. Together, Jalen and Ciri got on their knees to pray together until their souls in a chaste, watchful, uniting their souls in a chaste, watchful manner. The end. I love it, Bobicus. Excellent. Character creation is so fun. Yes, I'm rushing through this one a little bit because I have a little bit less time, but like I said, I think she's kind of a little bit more of a blank compared to the other two main characters. She's a little bit of a slate that's still being written. So, that lightning? All right. Now, I'm thinking that Ciri is mostly a creature of magic, but in order to do her job, which requires her to sort of fade into the background, she probably has to have some stealth skills and what we would generally consider thievery skills. She has to be able to take things or move things without people noticing. She has to be able to slink through the shadows, and she has to be able to do some of this unaided by magic. Most of what she does is magic related and heavily assisted by magic, but I think she does have to have a few other skills. Also, like most of the other main characters, because she is a goddess in training, she does know how to read and write, so... She also has an impeccable sense of fashion. All right. And then, unlike some of the other mages in this, where we talked about how most mages are skilled in 2 specific schools of magic, Ciri's magic has sort of been unlocked. And so rather than being an expert in specific areas, she's sort of a jack of all trades. She is a master of none, but she has been promised by the Watchers that she will eventually unlock her full potential, master all the magics, and ascend to a higher plane of existence. So... Sorry, I know I'm speeding through this one compared to the others, but I feel like doing the others gave me a pretty solid background in what I needed to write down for this character, and I think she's the most mysterious. I think she's the one we won't learn more about until later, so I'm okay with her being a little bit of a rougher sketch. There was something else I was gonna write and I just forgot it. Oh, I remember. Meg, hello, how are you? What is up? I was making lunch when you were hitting Ghost earlier with some of those blurps, and it was glorious. I assume it was you. I couldn't see chat, but I assume that you were hitting some of those really good blurbs. He was saying hello on chat, and it was just this cacophony of blurps, and it was amazing. I should also say... Ciri is skilled in the art of deception. We gonna stretch, which is good actually, because I have to go right from this stream into another stream. I am appearing on Winds of Chaos again tonight, so I gotta finish up here and get ready for there. I literally have like 5 minutes, so we are going to give this lady a quick history, which I think I'm going to leave most of it a mystery for now. I think I'm going to say that she was raised to probably a well-to-do elven family, but shed her history when she became part of the Watchers, which are essentially a cult. And since then, she has essentially been participating in their training program, doing whatever they have told her, raising her initiate level in hopes that she will one day be considered goddess material. Comf, busy night, yes. I don't know why I said your name that way, but there's just something so satisfying about saying comf comf. All right. Again, I keep going like I need to save and I don't because OneNote saves everything auto-magically. There we go. I think we're done for today. Basically, I have 3 main characters for 3. Apparently, I'm having trouble doing that. 3 main characters for this work in progress. They have all basically been defined at this point. The most important characters because they are sort of going to drive and define the rest of our plot. I did say automagically. It's not a real word, but it should be. It's the best word. Automagically, because it happens magically, and I don't have to do anything. I stole that from a friend, and I've never stopped saying it. The same friend also says squid pro quo all the time instead of quid pro quo. I can't talk anymore. This is going to make D&D very interesting. It is a best word if it's a fake word. Yes. It is a best word. So anyway, we've got the 3 main pillars of our plot already worked out. This is the biggest part of the legwork. I do have 3 more characters that I want to come up with and 2 sort of group characters, two sort of organizations that I'm going to treat as a collective character and do some writing about. But I think this was a pretty successful first attempt at character creation. I've got my 3 pillars. I can start trying to figure out how they interact with each other and how that's going to affect the plot. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to continue this. I've got 3 characters that I'm really interested to work on, lovingly at the moment referred to as Wings, Hellfire, and Beastmaster. These are going to end up being central characters to the plot as well, although slightly less important than the 3 main characters we did today. And then I also have the Watchers and the Mage Council that I'd like to write a little bit about. So we'll see how far we get tomorrow. I'm going to be starting hopefully at 10 a.m. And just getting straight into things and continuing right from where we left off. But for now, I have to run because, yes, I am on D&D tonight, so I need to be at camera setup in 7 minutes. So, who we rated? I'm going to have to rate and dip, which I hate to do, but got no choice. Oh gosh, Jade Chili is playing Cult of the Lamb. I'm tempted to drop you guys over there because I know many of you came from that. Also, Element Eds is on doing some editing, I would assume. We can drop over there if you guys prefer to go into a writing stream. Let's see. Where you guys want to go? I can't, unfortunately, raid you into the D&D because the D&D doesn't start for half an hour, and I can't just go for another half an hour because I have to be at camera setup, which is a bit of a catch-22. But if you guys like, we can drop in on Jay Chili. He's super awesome, super chill. He is playing Cult of the Lamb. You can join his cult. I am in it. I don't think he's sacrificed me yet, unlike some people. Cheers, Meg. Thanks for the hydrate. Do Noth. Do both. Comf, go live. Comf, if you want to go live, I can raid you. Let's drop in on Jay Chili. I don't do non-writing raids very often. But I feel like we've got a lot of people hanging out here from Ghosts Raid. Thank you so much if you came over on the Ghost Raid and stuck around, even if it was only for 5 minutes. I really appreciate it. Although if you're hearing this, you've been here for much longer than 5 minutes. And we're gonna go drop in on Joe. Maybe she went to go live, Shugraz. You don't know. All right, let me get Jay Chili's stream up here so that we can spell his name right, because I'm not very good at this sort of thing. Oh, it looks like he's trying to, is he trying to get things working? What's happening, Joe? Uh-oh. Well, it sounds like he might be having some technical difficulties, but let's go hang out with him anyway. There it goes. There the game goes. Jay Chili. Pick up any of the raid calls that you'd like. Please feel free to use any emotes that make your little heart happy, or your big heart happy. I'm not here to judge the size of your heart. I don't know why that came out. Thank you so much for attending this crazy session. I feel like I talked so much more than I expected to, but I really enjoyed this. This was really fun. I'm gonna look into NovelPad a little bit more and see if I can get it doing a little bit more of what I want it to do so that we can use it a bit more in the future. But thank you so much for coming out, for contributing ideas, for listening to me ramble about the crazy things that are happening in this book. Like I said, we're going to put together our secondary cast of characters, hopefully tomorrow, and then next week we might actually start outlining, depending on how things go. I'm here. Can't stream right now, though. No worries. Thank you for coming. You guys are all amazing. I know I say it all the time, but it's always true. You make this so much more fun than I ever expected it to be. I was terrified of sharing my writing process, and now I love it. So hopefully I'll see you all tomorrow, and if not, take care. You're all the best. And D&D starts in about 40 minutes if you want to come join that. Sorry to run. Bye!
All right, well, we're going to make a prison before we make them shelter.